What is the real definition of artificial intelligence? Do you need to have machine learning in your product to consider it an AI product? Welcome to Democratizing AI. The mission of this channel is to drive business impact using AI. Let's dive into the question. To answer this question, we have to go back to the history of when AI really began. There was a man named Claude Shannon. People have called him for years the father of AI. Let's look at his product. It was an electronic mouse. He used circuits to program the mouse to go forward, and if there's a wall that impacts the front of the mouse, then the mouse makes a 90-degree turn and then keeps going forward again. And if there's another wall, then it makes another 90-degree turn. So this mouse continued, he built a maze, put it on a table, and he demonstrated how the mouse can go through the entire maze in the entrance and out out of the other side without any human intervention. It appeared to people that this mouse is perceiving information about its environment, independently making decisions to solve a complex problem that previously required human intelligence. They called it artificial intelligence. Now this, in my opinion, is the definition of AI. It is any piece of technology, any product that is able to perceive information about its environment and independently make decisions in a way that does not require human intervention. And of course, it's going to be way better if it does it in a way that is actually useful. Perceive environment, make decisions independently. It's really that simple. Now, do you need machine learning to achieve that outcome? You actually don't, but many people think of AI and machine learning as very similar terms and like, oh, it's not AI unless there's machine learning. What technology did Claude Shannon use to power his mouse? There was no machine learning in it. What he used is called conditional logic. Conditional logic means I have a condition, and if you meet the condition, then do fill in the blank, do X, Y, Z. If you look at the code, real code that is not in circuits anymore, but real code, Java, Python, you name it, open up a file, go ask your developer. You will see if blah, 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 then blah, blah, blah. If blah, 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 then blah, blah, blah. If, and you will see this in any working piece of software that people actually use, you will probably see hundreds, if you go through all the code, hundreds of conditional statements. Developers use them all the time. It's like computer science 101. Is that AI? Is that so amazing that this mouse goes forward and if there's a wall, then make a 90-degree turn? Keep going, and if there's a wall, then make another 90-degree turn. Nowadays, we don't really think of that as AI. There's no machine learning that's not so disruptive. But it does achieve the outcome of perceiving its environment and making independent decisions in a useful way. That's why, in my opinion, other folks might disagree with me. It is not a requirement that you have machine learning in your product in order to classify your product as AI. And I'll give a very classic example here. Chatbots. Many people call chatbots AI, but many chatbots do not use machine learning. In fact, many of the most useful ones use primarily conditional logic. Now, I'll give you an example. If you're trying to make a chatbot that automates customer service, and there is some sort of word, and the customer says, if the word complaint or upset or angry and you can make this a pretty lengthy conditional statement. It may be so big that it won't fit right in the parentheses of the conditional statement. Then say the chatbot should say, "Oh, I'm so sorry you had a bad experience," and you can take it from there. Really, there are other chatbots that are being pioneered right now that use generative algorithms that perceive it, use more of a dynamic machine learning, deep neural network in order to generate a response based on many learned patterns of learned from previous data sets. But I'll tell you, these generative chatbots, they are awful. They are terrible. And they fail 99% of the time to do anything coherent at all. And that is why the chatbots that the most useful ones that are out there, rely primarily on the same conditional technology that Claude Shannon used to power his little mouse. So do you really need machine learning to call your product an AI product? If it's a technology requirement, and if conditional statement can be classified as AI, I guess every time you get a new email, that's AI too. If you get a new email, boom, make it show up in the mailbox. That's artificial intelligence. Exciting, isn't it? Now, that's why it's a little bit of a fuzzy line now. Perhaps with this discussion, I'm creating more questions in your mind than I'm answering. But to really to make it clear here, the definition of AI has evolved. Many of the things that were once very innovative, that perceived the environment and made independent decisions in a useful way, were for example, when Netflix started making movie recommendations, that seemed like, oh wow, that's what the store reps do at Blockbuster. They recommend to you movies, and now we've got a computer that does the same thing. And so people started calling that AI. But once that became not so amazing and we started seeing recommendations on pretty much any e-commerce site, we didn't think of every e-commerce website as AI anymore, even though many of them are using product recommenders under the hood. And by the way, lots of those recommenders also do not use machine learning. They use what's called information retrieval, and in future videos, I'll talk a little bit more about what information retrieval really is. But here, to really summarize things, artificial intelligence is right now something that perceives its environment, that makes decisions in a useful way. And this definition has evolved. Maybe some of the things, maybe 10 years, 20 years from now, these Tesla self-driving cars that perceive its environment and independently changes lanes, speeds up, slow downs, maybe people won't call that AI anymore. Maybe they'll think that's just how cars work. So does your product have AI in it? Does it have machine learning? It really is a personal sort of opinion, a decision about how you want to, it almost becomes a matter of packaging in a way. I think that if you are replacing, this is my product manager definition here, if you are introducing a technology that perceives its environment in a way and automates what previously required human manual work, then that is AI. And I think that opens up the doors for many, many more companies to consider themselves as AI, but it's a lot more true to what AI really is. And it is kind of a debatable thing. But there you go. You've got my definition. If you are excited about bringing AI into your product in a way that automates human decision-making, human action, give this video a like, subscribe to the channel. And there is a ton of disruption that these technologies, machine learning combined with conditional logic, combined with information retrieval, there's still so many more trails to be blazed, so much disruption to be happened. Subscribe to the channel and join us on this journey of disruption.